Hello everyone, welcome back to the Azure Information Protection training. So today I'm going to talk about some advanced features in the data classification labels, right? So in this session, mainly I'm going to show you how to control and how to protect your data whenever you are sharing it through Microsoft Outlook, right? So before we uh, go further with this session 2, you must make sure that you have already looked into my training 1, which is available in the STEM Up Academy or in the YouTube through these two links, right? The reason behind this is because in the training 1 I have given you the basic instruction how to enable the Azure Information Protection Service within the Azure portal, how to create the labels, how to create the policies, how to push it. So all the basics are there. So without knowing the basics, it will be a little bit hard for you to catch up the session 2. So make sure you have gone through this session 1, training session 1, right? So once that is done, then you can go through the session 2, right? So anyway, I have mentioned all the prerequisites which you need. I have talked about all the prerequisites in my training session 1, right? So go through that, but you get to know what exactly it is and what sort of things you need, right? And especially for the session 2, which I'm going to talk about now, you need to keep in mind that OS note down these 3 options, because these are some of the configurations which we are going to apply into our labels, right? So the best thing is you better save it into your notepad, right? Let me quickly open a notepad. Right, so just paste it here because you will need these files whenever you are configuring the labels and the policies in this session, right? So just minimize it. Okay, now let's jump into um, the training session, right? So the session to configure Azure Information Protection to control oversharing of information using Microsoft Outlook, right? So let's log into your Azure portal, right? And there I'm going to select Azure Information Protection. If you can't see it here, you can search it from here, Azure Information Protection, right? So once you open the menu, right, under the labels you will see all the previous label which you have created and the default labels available and the policies as well, right? So for today's session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 3 labels, 3 separate labels, right? Mainly uh, for Outlook, Microsoft Outlook. The reason behind this is I'm going to do certain protection, right? I'm going to bring certain protection to Microsoft Outlook through 3 options. One is I'm going to give warning messages to the users if I'm the email creator, if I'm the person who's going to send an email to outside or to internal. So it will pop up a warning message to me based on a condition, right? So it will say, are you sure that you want to send this, right? Kind of warning message before you send it, right? So when you click the send button, it will pop up. Then the second one is to send such a one, you need to give a justification why you are sending these informations to the particular users. Without giving justification, you can't send the email. That is number 2. Number 3 is it will block sending the email. You will not be able to send that email if that condition match with a particular uh, the email addresses, right? So these are 3 options I'm going to configure because these things are something advanced which you need to have to protect your Outlook, right? So for such configurations, first let's create three labels, right? I'm not going to talk about each and every step when I'm creating these labels because I have covered it in my training session 1. Anyhow, let's start with creating three labels. So as I mentioned, three labels are for warning, number 1, number 2 justification, number 3 is blocking, right? So let's create the first label for warning. So let's create it as warning, right? We'll put it like this, warning label, or else let's leave it warning, right? This is to warn you, right? So I'm just going to copy this for the next labels as the description. It's easy for me to paste it and modify accordingly. So let me select the color for my label. Warning one is like this. Yes, I want to protect it. So I'm going to add the permissions over here. I'm going to add the entire infra cloud users, and I'm going to give only the view permission. Right? I'm going to say OK. So I've added the domain, and the protection is there, which is the viewer permission only. Then I'm going to give I'm going to enable the header footer as well. So for this I'm going to say warning, right? And it should be red and center, and the footer outlook, right? It should be again red and center. I don't need any watermarks, right? So now here I'm going to create the conditions. So I'm going to click add new condition, and I'm going to create a custom conditions for this. So I just gave a meaningful name to this. So I'm going to say it must be warning, warning. So this is the condition. If within the email body itself or within the subject, if the warning uh, word is there, just give a warn message to the sender, right? Something like that. So let's see how it works. So okay, now I'm going to save. Okay, now I have added the condition as well. Then I'm going to say automatically label it. So I'm going to enable this as well. So I don't need any future housekeeping notes into this label. Just keep a note that over here the label id is automatically generated after the label is saved. Still we didn't save, so here still there is no label, right? Because once this is created, we need to copy the label which is going to appear over here. For the moment it's not there. Let's see what will happen when we click save. Okay, okay, now you can see the label warning is already created. So let me go back to the label. I'm going to open the label back, and I'm just going to the bottom of the label, and now you can see the label ID is already there. So I'm going to copy this label ID, right? And I'm going to paste it under the warn untrusted name, right? Okay, now I copied it over there. Then I'm going to minimize this. So the first label is done. Now I'm going to create the second label, which is justification one. So I'm going to justify, right? I'm going to say um, patient out, something like that, right? Then I'm going to select gray for the color, then protect yes, add permissions, Yes, and I'm going to give on the view permissions for this and click OK. Again OK. Now I have added the rights management service also into the label, and yes, I need a header which is just a full on capital A5. Okay, then the color should be orange. Center footer is Outlook. Outlook color is blue. Center, no watermark. So then I'm going to add the condition over here. So again, it's a custom one. So for justification, so I'm going to say I'm going to type this exact phrase pattern over here, right? And I'm going to save it. So I added the condition as well, and I'm going to say apply this label automatically, right? That's it. So here still the label is not there. We need to copy this label once this the label created. So let me go up and I'm going to click save. Okay, the justify label also created. Now I'm going to open the label again, right? Now here the label for that. I'm just copying it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it for the justification one. Then the last one is the blocking one. So I'm going to create the third label, right? Block, right? Oh, right. So I'm going to say yellow protection, yes. I'm going to add the permissions, yes, and I'm going to give view only. Say okay. So I added the rights management service back again. So the header should be okay blocking. We'll say all on caps. Blocking should be gray. Center footer should be Outlook. We'll type, and this should be blue again. Should be center. No watermarks. So here I'm going to add the conditions. So whenever you want to block an email, what it contains is very confidential. Might be it's something which you can't share with anyone, right? Something like that. So let's assume it's a credit card number, because it's very pretty much important thing and pretty much critical data, right? So I'm going to find the template for the credit card. Okay, it's there. I'm just going to say credit card and I'm going to save. So I've added the credit card condition into this, and I'm going to say apply this automatically. So all done. Let's copy. Once this created, let's copy the label ID for this. Let's click save. Okay, now it's creating. Okay, block is done. So let's go and open it. Let's go down. Let's copy the label ID and let's open the notepad and paste it over here. Okay, now I have copied all the three label IDs separately, right? So it's done. I'm just going to close it. Now I have created the three labels. Now next is I need to push this to my users, right? So next is creation of the policies. So same as what I showed you in my training session 1. Let's create a policy. Click add new policy. Give a policy name. Let's give data share is a policy. Only something like that, meaningful one. Then I'm going to select the users with whom I'm going to apply this policy. I'm going to say Hasita. Okay, I just select a single user since this is a testing, right? I just selected only Hasita. Then next is adding the labels. So I'm going to add couple of labels over here. I'm going to add personal and warning, justify and block. The recently created labels and also a personal one, right? And now I have selected altogether 4 labels and I'm going to say OK. So you can see now 4 labels are already visible under this policy. Now next is what is the default label you want. I'm going to say it's always personal because it might be your personal laptop, right? So you need to do some personal stuff as well, so I'm going to leave it as personal by default. Then sending data to the log analytics, yes. All documents and email must have a label, yes. Users must provide justification. So if you're having a higher level one and if you want to bring it to the lower level classification label, then you must give a justification. I'm going to enable it, yes. And all the emails with attachments needs to apply a label automatically or recommend. So I'm going to say automatic, right? Then display information bar, yes. Add do not forward, yes. And make the custom, yes. Custom permission also I need. So now I have done many changes and I added 4 labels, mainly warning, justify and block, and for general purposes I just added personal one. I'm going to save the policy. Now these settings I have already done in my training session 1 as well, right? So next step is the additional configuration which we are going to do for these the policies and for these labels, right? So that is the only unique thing which compare to the training session 1 with this session 2, right? So now I have created the layer policy as well, so let's close this. Okay, now the policy is there. Now what I'm going to do is, right, now these 3 labels which we have created just now already pushed to the particular user called Hasita, right? But it's just a general label, right, where it will identify certain things and classify based on the label conditions and the permissions. But this will still not block or warn per email, right? Or it will ask for justification whenever you are sending emails. It will not happen yet. So now what I'm going to do is, you can see under the policy there's a context menu over here onto your right corner with 3 dots. Just click it. Then you have delete policy, export and advanced settings. So click advanced settings. Now in the name and the value you need to copy the details which we recorded in our notepad. So separately for justification, the name of the justification, then the value which we have copied the label IDs, then for the warning, and then for the blocking one. So let me open the notepad. So yes, I'm going to copy the name and copy it here, and the value as this separately. Okay, now it's done. Now the next is, I'm going to add the justification one. Okay, and label ID. Okay, the last one is the blocking one. Okay, now I have add the final one also, which is the blocking one, and I'm going to click save and close. Okay, I have done the additional advanced settings into my policies, right? So let's go back and see whether everything is there perfectly. Yes, block untrusted is a label, justification untrusted is a label, and worn and untrusted, so this block, so all three is there. I'm going to close it back. Right now I'm going to test it out with my client machines. Right, so let's open the test computer. Okay, now first let's open and see whether the created the labels are visible in your Word document or in your Outlook menu bar. Let's click this. So in the meantime, keep in mind that I have already installed the Azure AIP client, right? So AIP client is the classic version still I'm using in here, right? So because these settings are not for the unified labeling one, which is the new one, so still I'm using the old one, the classic label, right? So the version is 1.54.59.0. Okay, so now here when you logging into your Word or Excel or PowerPoint, go to accounts and make sure you are the correct user who logged into this Word Microsoft Office. So yeah, in my case this is the correct one because I have shared these policies with this particular user called hustadinfracloud.com. So then I'm going to say new and I'm going to click open. Okay, now you can see all the four labels which I just published is visible over here, right? Okay, so that's there. So also you can make sure go to file, then under the protect document click the drop down menu, then see whether here also it's showing all. Now here it's a little bit different because these are the previous policies which I have created and these are the things which I have already deleted from my Azure portal, right? But it's still visible over here. It's because it's still in the with the cache. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going back and under these options, right? So in case if you are using a fresh one, you will not face this issue over here, right? Will not face this issue. But why I'm seeing different labels over here, because I'm doing many testings in my test lab. So these are the all labels which I have created with IT dash option. But right now what I have created is just the warning, just these are the names. So to clear the previous cache and all, so what you can do is go to this option protect. This comes when you install the Azure Information Protection client. This is a classic one, right? So I have shown you how to do install this and configure this in my training session one. Please go through it. So when you click the drop down menu, you have help and feedback. Just click it. Then there you have the reset settings option. Just click resetting. This will delete all the registry files and things like that, and then you can say continue. It says close all the office documents since it is reset. Okay, I'm just going to close, and I'm going to close it back, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the Word again, and I'm going to check. Okay, it's asking for me to sign in back. I'm going to say next. This is for my AIP client verification. I'm going to re-enter my password. So here it's asking me to verify my phone number and things to make sure my account is protected. So I'm going to configure this now quickly, right? I'm going to give my set it up phone number. I'm going to select the country code for Sri Lanka, which is +94, and also I'm going to type my phone number over here, right? And I'm going to get the text number. I have done the configurations to protect my account, so it's already done. So I'm going to open the document back. Okay, still the labels are there, fine. So So I'm going back to the file, and under protect, I'm going to go to restrict access. Now it's the all the labels are not there, so I'm going to say it's of that connect to rights management servers and get templates, new templates, right? Okay, retrieving. So let's go to restriction, protect document and other restrict access. Just check whether all the manually created, newly created labels are there. Yes. So block justify warning is there. So I'm just going to the document back. So blank one, I'm just going to apply each and every and see whether labels are applying properly to the Word document. Warning, yes, warning, footer, and the header both is there. Then I'm going to change it to the justify one. Justify, outlook is there. Class is a blocking, and the outlook is there. So if I go to take it to the lower level, I need to give an explanation, something like that. Okay, so this one say test, right? So yeah, now the labels are working fine. Now I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to open the Microsoft Outlook and see when we are sending email whether the configuration which we have done for the uh, data sharing through Outlook is working perfectly, right? So let's go through one by one. The number one is the warning message, whether it's popping up. If yes, then let's go to the second option, which is the justification. The user as a uh, email creator, we need to give a justification why I'm sending, and the final one is the blocking one. So let's open the Outlook and see how this behaves. Let's wait until it's open. Okay, now it's open, right? Okay, let's open the new option called new email, and now here it's under personal label, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type the user which I'm going to send the email. I'm going to send it to different user which is outside from this organization, and I'm going to type something over here, test message label. Oh, something like that, and test 1 2 3. Okay, now let's click send and see what happens, since because of the condition called warning is there with the capital W, right? So let's click and see what will happen. Okay, now you can see whenever you click send, it will ask you to confirm and send. Okay, verify it back whether are you sending it to the correct person, because this is a common issue which most of the users are doing. Whenever you have saved your external or internal users like email addresses, maybe you have your address book, simply when you are typing Hasit, there might be multiple Hasita email address which contains Hasita name, right? So mistakenly you will select the wrong email address over here and you will send it, right? So with this you have option. Okay, it's giving a message, should I go through all these things? Why? Because the condition called warning is there, that's why it detect and sending it. So I have to say confirm and send it, then it will send, right? So the warning is basically working. So let's go back to the new email again and let's see what will happen to the justification one. So I'm going to say test 1 2 3 4. Okay, now I'm going to type in different way. Just okay. I just typed justification in a different way with caps and simple. Test 1 2 3. This is test me check the justifiable. Okay, something like that. Let's check. So I'm going to click send. See, doesn't matter whether it's caps or simple, because I mentioned, okay, this is the pattern which I need. So justification. So I need to give explanation why I'm sending this mail, or whether I confirm the recipient which I'm going to send, which is this one is correct, or my manager already approved, or other explanation. So I can say save. So whatever the things I'm sharing, I'm typing over here. Whatever the things I'm changing the high level label to lower level, all the records will upload to the log analytics, and I can check what has happened, what was the original one, who has changed it at what time, so and so. All details are in the cloud, right? So I'm going to confirm and send because I need to give a justification why. Okay, now the last one is the blocking one. Let's see how this blocking works. So I'm going to click new email. I'm going to type the user Hazita for blocking. So what is the blocking emails condition? How it detects, okay, this email body contains, or this email subject contains this particular detail, and I need to uh, classify it and block or want something. So how can I do that? So that's where the condition is. So for the blocking one, what I mentioned as a condition, it's a credit card. If this document contains a credit card number, okay, let's uh, basically block it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to um, copy few details from my older uh, uh, document to this one, and I'm going to send it because I'm in a hurry. Just imagine such situation, right? So let me quickly, okay, let's copy this. I'm going to copy, right? I'm going to copy this to my notepad, right? And in the middle somewhere here, I'm just typing the credit card number. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy the entire thing into my email body. I don't know whether I have the credit card number over here or not, right? So I'm just, anyway, to highlight it, I'm just putting it on red with bold, right? So because I didn't get much time to go through the content, so I just copied it and I'm going to send it. See, now it says email block. There is no option. I have to say only OK, right? So I can't send it, right? So what I can do is, only thing is I can save it to the draft. So let's save it to the draft now. Okay, let's close this. In the draft, there's an email which I just created. I'm just going to open it again, and I'm going to click send again. Let's see what happened. Nothing. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the credit card number just to show you. Okay, now no credit card number, nothing, right? Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and because it's already mentioned as block, so let's bring it to the personal. Now credit card number, say okay. Now let's click it again. It went, right? So as long as it has the credit card number, it will block, right? So that's how these uh, email protection works with additional configurations which you are doing for your Azure information protection labels, right? So through this, what you can do is you can minimize the mistakes can happen through email sharing, because the fastest method so far is, and the fastest method where you can get a response is through email, right? So whenever you are sending emails, you are sending 100 number of emails per day. So it will be very hard for you to keep everything in your mind, so what you are sharing, so and so mistakenly, if such data like credit card number or something, if you are sharing it's outside or internal, it's very critical data. So with these options you can block it, right? Or else you can, get a notification justification or something. I just given certain example over here for these three labels, but you can define it the way you want. So keep in mind, so to use this the the features available in the Microsoft Azure AIP to have a better and protected environment within your territory. So with this, you can make sure that you are safe, and you can have a safe environment, especially considering your data, right? So thank you very much, guys, to um, looking into these sessions, right? Please try it out with yourself, since the trial options are available. Try it out and see how these AIP features will help you to protect your environment, to protect your data, right? And try to utilize it in a proper way. So thank you very much, and stay safe and have a good day. Bye.